We're going to explore how you can profit from the farm crop boom just like billionaire investors like Bill Gates and Jim Rogers without owning a farm. So stay tuned for the full episode. Thank you for watching. This is Richard with Wisdom Investor. We're going to explore how the average person can profit from the crop boom that's going on farms. So we're talking about land, we're talking about commodities, we're talking about machinery. All these areas are booming. Now we mentioned Bill Gates a moment ago. It has only been known here recently that he has a large fortune in land. And we're going to take a look at that. Let's take a look at the number of acres that Bill Gates currently owns right now. 242,000 acres here, all spread out over the United States. It's about 16 different states where he owns land. Now there has been talk about his recent split up with his wife. We're not focusing on that. We're primarily looking why and how a person can take advantage of this farm crop boom that's going on. We're also going to take a look at why Jim Rogers, legendary investor, is betting on agriculture. And we're going to show you where he's making money in commodities and agriculture. Here's an article here. It says Bill Gates explains why he's the largest farmland owner in America. According to the Ag Funder News, they asked him, Bill, why are you buying so much farmland? Bill Gates replied, seed, science, and biofuel development were the main drivers of acquisition. He goes on to say, my investment company group chose to do this. It is not connected to the weather. So what Bill Gates is looking for here is the byproducts that come from the land, the seed and the plants, and also biofuels. So speaking of the land, here's some ways you can take advantage of getting involved in land, farmland. The first company we're going to look at here is called Gladstone Land. They're a publicly traded company. Their symbol is LAND. Here's some information about Gladstone Land Corporation, LAND. It's a REIT. It owns 127 farms, 93,999 acres in 13 different states. And you can invest in this REIT. Here's a look at the chart for LAND land. It's a REIT. You can invest in this and take advantage of the rising cost and the rising prices of farms. Here's a map of where Gladstone Land has farms. Another REIT you can participate in is Farmland Partners, symbol FPI. Farmland Partners owns approximately 156,000 acres in 16 states throughout the United States. Here's a map showing where Farmland Partners owns land. Here's a look at the chart for Farmland Partners over the last year and a half. You can see it's been doing quite well. Now Jim Rogers says he's betting on agriculture. So let's take a look at where we can invest in agriculture. This first chart here is DBA Holdings. This is an agricultural index. You can see the different areas this agricultural index invests in. Anywhere from cattle, sugar, corn, soybeans, coffee, and more. Now, Jim Rogers has his own index here. His symbol's RJA. He's involved with this particular index. It's an agricultural index, about 21 different commodities, and you can see it's doing quite well. This is something you could also invest in. Now, if you didn't want to invest in an index, you're looking for something more individualized, the corn index. Here's the soybean fund, SOYB. You can see it's doing quite well also. Okay, so we've looked at where you can invest in land, commodities, also cattle. There's one other area that Bill Gates is very heavily invested in. Let's take a look at that. Here's Gates' hot hands with stocks. His top U.S. listed stocks held by Cascade Investments, which is Gates' investment group. If you look down here for machinery, John Deere, Bill Gates has a 40% holding in John Deere. That's agricultural machinery. Now keep in mind, we looked at some charts here and these stocks have been going almost straight up. It's always best to buy on some kind of a pullback. I wouldn't be buying at the highs here. I always like to buy at some type of a pullback. So we looked at some ideas on how an average person like you and I could get involved and profit from the farm crop boom. We looked at land, we looked at commodities, we looked at machinery. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Stay tuned for our next episode.